Hi, this is Taylor Garcia, and this is for Module 1 for AEP 855, and this is my personal introduction. A little bit about me. I'm from Goddard, Kansas, which is just west of Wichita. I'm in my fifth year of teaching. I taught second grade for 2 years, first grade for 2 years, and now again I'm teaching second grade. I teach in USD 259, which is Wichita Public Schools. I teach at Hyde Magnet Elementary School. It's a really tiny little school in Wichita. I've been married to my husband Daniel for a year and a half, and we've actually been together for 12 years. We met in high school, and we recently had a baby boy. His name is Emmett, and he's 9 months old. Some challenges about teaching during a pandemic, things I never thought that I would have to think about. One of the biggest challenges I've had is there are so many things unknown, and there's so many changes being made at the last minute. So I have been thinking all year, do I teach in person? Do I teach online? Do I get to work at school? Do I have to work from home? What is the year going to look like if I am teaching in person? Another thing, there's just been so much back and forth. We recently transitioned to full remote right after Thanksgiving. And then 2 weeks ago, it feels like a year ago, but we switched back to in person learning. So I'm now teaching in person. And that has been very hard on me and the kids and transitioning them because they're in second grade and change is hard for them. And a lot of them really love to have routine. And so do I. Another thing that has been a huge challenge is there is such a disconnect right now in our school, not in a bad way, like people aren't getting along or anything like that. It's just we are all in our own little bubble and we have to be in our bubble alone all the time. So it's been very hard to stay connected with staff members. And we have a very close group at our school. So it's been really difficult on all of us to be so separated and disconnected from one another. But we have to in order to, take the right precautions and keep everyone safe. Another thing that's been challenging about this year is just worrying about making mistakes. I like to think that I'm very confident in myself and my abilities to teach, but this year I've been more worried about, is everyone socially distanced enough? Did everyone wear their mask all day without it coming up, under their nose or not covering their mouth? Will I be considered a close contact if somebody were to get sick? Things like that. Just I want to do my part and I want to do what's best for myself and for my students. And some things that I've learned about other people and even myself this year is that teachers are amazing. I work with so many people who are giving 110% of their effort all the time to do what they can to educate their students, no matter what that might look like. Another thing that I've learned, and this one specifically about myself, is I thrive off of communication with others, whether that be personal, professional, emotional communication about how I'm feeling. It's been very difficult teaching through a pandemic, not being able to connect with others and communicate with them in a normal way. A video chat is great, but it's not the same as getting to sit down and talk with somebody in person, and I very, very much so miss having that. Another thing that I've learned about other people is that education has now been changed forever. We have done amazing things with technology and tools and things that we've been given or learned about, or things that have developed through all of this. And from here on out, I think everything's going to be different. Technology is such an amazing tool that people use, and some people use it well, and some people don't use it as well. But I think that it's here and it's here to stay. And some of the things we've been implementing are probably not going to be going away, which is okay. Getting into some of the readings we were supposed to do, the three mindsets, I agreed with all of these. All students can learn. Yes, especially this year. It is amazing to me, even when my kids were online for a month, how much they learned and how much progress they made. It's amazing. And we can't continue to make excuses. Our principals kind of shifting to this mindset now of we can't use COVID as an excuse anymore. All students can learn. It doesn't matter where they are, who their teacher is. We can do things to help them learn. And it might take a little bit more effort. It might take a couple more people pitching in this year for them to learn, but everyone can learn. It doesn't matter who they are, where they are. We can do it. Teacher collaboration over isolation, absolutely. I said I miss working with others, and I've really seen this year um, how much more I've accomplished in years past. Not that I haven't accomplished anything this year on my own, but I think if I was working with others, I might be a little bit further along because I love collaboration and working as a team. And like I've said, I thrive on that. So not having that has been extremely difficult. So absolutely, I love having collaboration time. Happiness and optimism. Yes, I feel like my own thoughts and my own feelings about things kind of create my classroom climate and climate at our school. One thing in our building we say a lot is we can do hard things. We tell the kids that, we tell each other that as staff members. We're not ignoring that things are going to be hard, but we know they're going to be hard, and that's okay. And we can do it, and we can do it together. Um, Next, moving into the dispositions, confidence, absolutely. I work with a principal who exudes confidence. She is wonderful. I love her. I can't say enough good things about her, but she has a very good balance between confidence and humility, which was mentioned in the reading. And I think that that's very necessary. If you make a mistake or something gets messed up, it's okay to admit that, and you can still have confidence in yourself. Being a risk taker and being decisive, yes. If you make a decision, even if it is a risky one, you gotta basically have your own back 100%. Like, yes, this is this decision I made. This is what we're doing. Let's take it and run with it. A sense of humor, yes. I love implementing humor into my day. I consider myself somebody who has a good sense of humor, and I use that a lot when I'm teaching, when I'm working with others, and it just gives an environment such a, kind of a breath of fresh air, especially this year with things not always being as fun and happy as they normally are. The fourth disposition was being empathetically assertive. Yes. I love the comments about understanding basic human responses to change and to new ideas and decisions that have been made that maybe you weren't a part of. And it's okay to help somebody through a change, help somebody understand your decision, be transparent with them and let them know this is why I've made that choice, not just this is my choice, you have to do what I say because I'm in a leadership role and you're not. And the last disposition was being a learner. Yes, absolutely. It's one of my favorite things about being in education. It's constantly changing. There's always things we can do to improve ourselves, which in return improves things for our students. So we are all lifelong learners. The three practices, focus and prioritizing. Yes, I think that this is something I really struggle with. I am a yes person. If you want me to do something, yes, absolutely, I would love to help you. I've been conscientiously trying to get out of that, not in a bad way, but just I need to focus on the task at hand and think about, is this a priority of mine that if I get it done, it's going to lessen my load? And sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. But think about, does it really align with what my goals and objectives are for right now? Examining feedback and data. This is another thing that I've been working on. I collect a lot of data, and I need to take the time to sit down and review the data rather than just having it. Data is great, and I love lots of data, but taking the time to actually look at it and think, okay, what does this tell me? What am I going to do with it moving forward? Emotional intelligence, I agree and disagree with this practice. I do want to inspire others around me, particularly people that I work with or people that are working for me. However, I don't think that every interaction people should walk away from me and be like, wow, I'm so inspired. That was perfect, because that's not reality. I want them to know that I'm human too. I have thoughts and feelings, and I need to process things. And even though it might seem like everything is perfect for me, that might not be the case. So that was the one part that I did kind of disagree with, was that every interaction should be inspiring. I think that letting people see a different side of you is also good, especially being in a leadership role. And I also agreed, especially with treating everyone with dignity, respect, kindness. Those are things that I would want. So I would want somebody to do that for me. Moving into the 8 principles of ethical leadership, personal courage. Yes, I think that if you don't understand something, ask why. Why are we doing this? Help me understand what does this mean? Why are we taking these steps and taking these measures for these things? And you're either going to get an answer that gives you reasoning and you're going to say, okay, I understand now. It makes total sense. Or you're going to say, that's a good question. Why are we doing it? Should we change things up to improve this for all parties involved? Public interest ahead of self, absolutely. If you are going into a leadership role, you're doing it probably for serving others, especially in education. And while it'd be easy to say, well, we're going to do this because this is what I want to do, constantly thinking of, is this going to be best for everyone, especially the staff and the students that I'm working with? Self control, self discipline, and integrity. Yes, all of these things. I mean, if you're being a leader, you're taking on the responsibility of being a role model for somebody or for multiple people, maybe. And that's a big responsibility that you have to be ready to take on, and you should exude all of those characteristics, excuse me. Task and employee centeredness, absolutely. I've already mentioned I love my principal. I could go on and on about her, but she is so great at recognizing people around her and spotlighting people who have a certain strength in reference to whatever the task might be that we're discussing at the time, which kind of leads into recognizing talent. Not only should those things be spotlighted and recognized, but putting people into a role where they can take that strength and show it off, put it to use, do what they can. If they're the best at it, put them into a role where it's going to benefit them by getting to show off their strength or whatever it might be. And in turn, that's probably going to give back to your students and the school. Requiring high ethics from everyone. I agree that we should have high ethical expectations of everybody, but the part about making those expectations clear and making sure that everyone is doing them, you can't force somebody to act ethically, and ethics means something different to every person. Um, and I just think that we show that through our actions. We show that by making ethical choices and being a role model. We can't force somebody to do something that maybe I think is ethical, but they think it's unethical. But I think showing that in our actions and letting somebody um, kind of take on whatever you show and then putting that into their own action, whatever that might look like, I think that's how we have ethics from everyone, not by forcing it on them. Sensitivity and understanding, yes, especially this year. A lot of people have been forced into roles and forced into positions that they don't want to be in. So we can continue to have high expectations of people, but if those expectations can't be met, understand where they're coming from and have sensitivity to their situation, because you never know what somebody is going through, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic. Then the last one is inclusiveness. Agree 100%. Education is a team effort. It is not on one person to educate a child. It's on a whole group of people, and they all have to work together. And if everyone feels included in that process, I think that that's going to be success. That's going to show in success for the students, as well as make all those team members and people who are involved feel successful as well. These are the references that I used for this module. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to get to know everyone better throughout this course.